All right, you guys. I got this question today, and it's actually a very good question. And that is, and I've been meaning to kind of do this talk for a while now, regarding how to get the most out of any exercise. And part of it is going to come down to understanding the limitations of each exercise and what it can accomplish, right? So, when we are talking in this case about the chest press that I've assigned for you guys this week, what the first thing is like, why do I have these points separate like this? And like I said, when we're working on our chest specifically, and this is exactly what we're trying to develop in this period of time, the triceps are going to be getting more work than just your chest is in the workouts that I've been giving you, because they're going to be active for like your overhead presses and whatnot. So they're getting their work in. But for right now, I want to target a lot more on the pecs specifically. And what the pecs do is they adduct the arm, right? They move it from a wide point to the narrow point, and that's all they do. They just pull here, right? Your back muscles are going to pull it back to the posterior position, right? So what we need is tension trying to pull our arms apart, right? So if I have a single point with the traditional TRX version of it, right, there is absolutely nothing here. Right? I can do this all day, right? Here I've got tension. Why? Because my arms are really wide and my body weight's trying to pull me down. But once I get to about here, guys, I lose any type of benefit to my pecs. I could do this all day and it's not going to do much for me. Even if I'm closer to parallel to the ground, guys, this doesn't do much, right? So when I have two separate points here, those points are going to make it much harder, and the wider those points are from each other, right? For space limitations and practicality reasons, I have them a little bit closer together than I would really like them to be. But yeah, the further apart that I can make them, so that this angle is more parallel to the ground, when my arms come together, the more resistance I'm going to have in that adduction, right? So if I look at a band, right? Then I get down into this position, and I am doing the same movement, but with the band, it's going to have the same problem here, right? So I'm getting that resistance pulling back into my shoulders, but my pecs aren't taking much of that weight. Now, conversely, right, if I take my band here, right, I'll go over here so you guys can see, but if I take my band here, and you see right now the bands are coming out perpendicular to the point of my forearm here, right? So you see that they're coming right out. So the pants, I can totally feel that in my chest, guys, because the bands are pulling me into abduction. It's pulling my arm away from that center line, right? So I'm going to get more out of the exercise if it's pulling outward. So if you guys need to use bands for this week's exercise, either you need two of the same weight, or you just need to do one arm at a time. Just be very cognizant that you're not twisting your body to that movement. Stay square as you go through that movement, because that's pretty much what we're trying to do, is we're trying to work on those pecs. Now, when we are working with dumbbells, and this is just the weight that was left on them, dumbbells are going to be something that's going to be a thing of gravity, right? Gravity is what's going to determine whether or not your dumbbells are going to be effective, right? For whatever movement. So when you're laying down on the ground, so that back wall is the ground for me right now, right? So when I am here, I have the most resistance because gravity is pulling that dumbbell this way, right back to that back wall. So when I come up here, gravity is still pulling this way, right? And what I need in order to get the most for my pecs here is I need my arm to get pulled away from my center line. So how can we mitigate this, right? And so you don't have to do it this way, guys. If you don't have the suspension rig, right? If you guys have a strong pole or a tree or something like that, you can use that. I do want this shorter. So if I can get into this position, right? So I'm hanging off that point, and I'm here. I finished that center line. Now gravity, for the most part, is working in that adduction. Because right now, that dumbbell wants to go this way, right? I'm using a little bit more deltoid because I'm at an angle here. But, and the lower I can go, right, that position I didn't want to do, if I do that, right? If I get lower to the ground, the more effective this is going to be, right? Right? So, if you need to use dumbbells, and you have a tie-off point or anything like that, or even a pole, like, you guys can't see this, but we've got these poles right here, but, you know, if you have something that you can grab onto, right? Now, I don't trust these ones exactly for this, so but I'll just demonstrate. But I'm hanging off that pole, my foot's in the corner. Now I'm getting that angle that I need in order to increase the resistance on my pectoral muscles. And, you know, if you wanted to, you know, you could, when you get into whatever position you're working here, I'll hold on to that actual handle there, or shorten it up. Should have practiced this once before I filmed it. Woo! So I get here, right? If I wanted to potentially work my top head of my pecs, right, I can come up into that upward angle now. And that actually might be something I'm going to add to the workout program. But, you know, whatever you're trying to work there, guys, put yourself in the position to meet those ends, whether we're using a band and making sure that that is pulling out this way, or we're hanging off a point and we're going like this, right? Or we are using a suspension rig that's pulling us apart there. So that's what I have for you guys on that subject. And if you guys have further questions, let me know. And yeah, get at it.